Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Sailor P. Yes. I have. I'm gonna. We're gonna review some explosive videos. Explosive, yes.
Grazie, signore.
You have to be joyful as Catholic.
Subscribe to this channel and share this video.
And true humility is the
women who should be taking care of their own chat room.
Handouts.
That's dumb. It's just
Go away! Go away!
Well, I dare say, I was looking at some content last night, and I saw Matt Gasp was there, and he was like, "We're going to have fun." And I said, "Oh no, Chris Jackson is done." And then I watched the show, and I said, "I'm going to have to review this." And so without further ado, let's get into the most YouTube channels are about people saving souls. But no YouTube channel is an oracle explicitly for God to give his voice until now. That is correct. Most people realize God needs priests, but YouTubers have decided that God needs YouTube to save the world. I'm Jeremy Fisher.
Welcome to Veritatis Vox, a channel devoted to being a voice for the voice of truth, who is Jesus Christ our Lord.
Yes, I am the voice for God. Is there anything more pompous in the history of mankind? Excuse me. I, Matt Gaspers, am a voice for the Almighty.
Risen from the dead.
Yes. Gaspers is... It's Gaspars. Gaspars instead of Gaspers. No. Just remember, podcasting is about the truth, which is why we have friends. Podcasting is about the truth. Okay, people like friends, we get it.
My name is Matt Gaspers, and I'm very happy to be joined today once again by my friends from across the pond.
Friends from across the pond? Are they frogs too? I just love this. I'm the voice for truth, and these are friends. Are they also the voice for truth? Maybe podcasting is merely nothing more than all the friends we made along the way. So, in this episode, by the way, I thought this episode was going to be really easy for Matt Gaspers to completely dunk on Chris Jackson. But unfortunately, we're going to see it. It's very mediocre, actually.
Gentleman whose pen name is Chris Jackson. I don't actually know his full real name, which is kind of interesting because I've actually known Chris for about 8.5 years. I was trying to figure out the...
But do you really know any man, even if you know his real name? So I've known Chris Jackson for 8 years, and I've listened to him and read him and talked to him, and then all of a sudden, on a dime, he changed from being consistent to actually being consistent. Tell me you don't know someone without telling me you don't know someone. What's going on? What's going on? Is there something going on? We agree Gaspers is in fact infallible. He's also inflatable. You just have to stick the hose up and turn it on.
The other day. So I was shocked, because I mean, it's not like I've only met him in person once in my life. It's not like we're best friends or something, but still, you think you know this person for 8.5 years, and come to find you don't even know their real name. So it's kind of a...
Why this has to be said is beyond me. Did you know Sir Desai's not my real name? No, you never knowed me. I was not knowed by you, you silly, silly human beings. Yes, but I mean, I'd like to start a podcast off, and I'd like to talk about me not knowing things. Oh, that's fantastic. Is there any better kind of podcast than this?
Bizarre feeling.
What? More Friends is from the Van Helsing song? Unbelievable! I hope they get a stake and put it through that song. Imagine my shock. Gasper says that Chris Jackson is imputing dishonest motives to a group of people who have been exposed as dishonest. Like it's what's next? Chris Jackson says sitting in the sun will warm your back. I'll play the clip.
And also,
Yeah, I would have put that in, but I was like, this is already a long enough episode. This episode's going to be like a half an hour longer than it should be. I don't know about that.
imputing, dishonest motives to that, which I think is the worst part. Like they're doing it for monetary reasons, in other words.
Yes, for the 400th time, when we say trad ink, we don't mean merely money. We mean the fame and the glory, the honor and the power, influencing other people and making them think you're really great. I know when I go outside and I say, hello, people, they say, why don't you go to work? And I'm like, but I'm really great. Someone on the internet likes me. And they say, you can play with your internet friends after you're done with your chores. That's a Star Wars reference, by the way. But no, trad ink is not all about the money. It's about feeling important and making friends. That's right, podcasting is about making friends.
The Zippit policy, quote unquote, is so that they don't lose their income or whatever, which I find hilarious because I've never, this is a hobby for me. I work a full-time day job. I think that's probably...
Yes, we know. Every single episode I've got to hear Mr. Matt Gaspers say, I've got a job. Hello? Is this Mr. Matt Gaspers? Do you have a job? Oh, yes, you've got a full-time job. Do you also podcast? Are you a dad? Do you have children? Do you look like a chipmunk? Yes to all these questions. We have the right Matt Gaspers. Excuse me. But seriously, why do you always keep saying you have a full-time job as if being important on the internet wasn't a benefit in of itself? I'm waiting for the ZAP episode on the Duchess of Canterbury visiting the Vatican. But what am I supposed to say? Hey, look, there's a woman with a mop for her head walking down the aisle. Boo! Like, what is there to say? It's so dumb. No one is accusing you of being a vampire. I wonder why ZAP wrote that in.
Isn't that true for you as well, Mark? I mean, Catholic...
Hang on, Matt. Hang on, Matt.
And now we're going to get a fantastic amount of comedy and humor, being like, hey, I didn't make billions of dollars doing podcasting, therefore I'm not trad ink. And why they think this is going to work, when literally this is the most overused line. Even Kevin Davis does it. It's like, hey, is the sun warm? Do podcasters make friends? Do people who are trad ink pretend that it's all about money? I rest my case.
You can say what? Oh, okay, thanks.
Catherine's just getting a message from
a message from my handler.
Secret big boss.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yes, as if you were important enough to need a secret boss. But on a serious note, if it wasn't a company, why did Taylor Marshall have to publicly announce that he accepted Leo? Why did they all have to publicly say, as if they were talking to one another, what the plan was? Crickets? In this next clip, Mark entirely accepts the premise of the accusation. He even names the names. Now, what you're going to see in this show... is that Sede Picante is a drunk. And that he has no idea where the camera's supposed to be looking. Oh, there we go. And now we're back to the show. And what you're going to see in this episode is that Mark Lambert literally says the wrong stuff like 5 or 6 times as if he was being paid off by Big Sede Inc. to destroy Trad Inc.
Just total nonsense from the people that I know that he talks about. You know, like that to lump everyone together and to say that everyone like this, it's the label, the pejorative label is the first obvious sign that there's a problem, isn't there? That I'm very privileged to be lumped together with you and Taylor and
with you and Taylor. That's funny. Who mentioned Taylor Marshall? And so far in the stream, the only one who did was Mark Lambert. Why are you mentioning Taylor? Is it because Taylor Marshall makes money and is influential and therefore the figure of Trad Inc.? Oh no. Why even address it? It's almost like that old saying, if you put 2 fishes in the bog, they don't come back up.
you know, but
and we expressed mirth and joviality at the public degradation of the supposed religion of the Most High. Well, here you go.
You're Catholic, ain't you?
Wait, do you mean Stephen Heiner is paying off Mark Lambert to destroy Catholic Inc.? No. The point is, if somebody says, hey, Christine, you watch tons of Sede Picante, and you say, well, I don't. I watch Sir Dessay, Master Bowser, Meow Rissa, and Jake the Cop. If that was your answer, it would be the same thing as saying, yes, I watch Sede Picante. If someone says, you're Trad Inc., and you say, I'm glad to be put in a group with Taylor Marshall and Peter Kwasniewski, and I believe the same things as they believe, and you, Matt Gaspers, and I believe what you believe, and you believe what I believe, and we're all friends, then there's no difference between them being Trad Inc. and them all being friends. That's the point. 2 fishes in a bog is worth more than 1 in the sea. That's not true. That is definitely not true. You can't catch the 1 in the sea because the sea is so big. But in the bog, it's like having 2 in the sea. But then there's 2 in the bog, so that's like 700 million in the sea.
Yeah, I'm not even Catholic. I don't even count. I like clowns. That's all.
I like clowns. Is he making fun of the mockery of God? That's funny. I like blasphemy. Ha ha ha. Blasphemy. I said it again. I love it. This Mark Lambert has no sense of humor, and he thinks being ironic is funny. But we're going to see him get triggered and angry and contradict himself, which is the whole reason we're doing this show.
Just love clowns.
Yeah, I love clowns. By the way, we would like to remind everyone at this time Anthony Abate has been twice caught calumniating other content creators, which is a mortal sin. But since he's a podcaster, it doesn't count. How about that?
So
that's a lot of words. Lambert blanks and moans about the SSPX consecration and calls him schismatic. But then has a long view with Altman and praises him. Altman who put out a book plagiarizing the Novice Order Breviary. Breviary? Huh. Well, this is what I really like, Father Takata. I'll say, Father Rampola, get Ola here. Haha. By the way, EC2. Why are we attacking from the Chicago again? What? Is this on the stream somewhere?
after seeing the hit piece, I mean, there's no other way to say it. That's what it is.
So when Chris Jackson writes a note about you, it's called a hit piece. But when other Trad Inc. members deliberately lie about you, it's called, oh, it was for fun. Oh, it's podcasting. Oh, it's our team against your team, so it's okay. Bigots!
Hit piece that he did on you and then also on me, and he's Chris definitely doesn't like Anthony Abate, and he was mad that I had Anthony on the show.
Well, I only point this out to say that both sides are making hit pieces. That's not how you spell pieces, by the way. Pieces? And I haven't seen one person. Has anybody in the chat seen anyone call out Anthony Abate for publicly lying about other Catholic content creators? Has anybody? I haven't. In fact, the only thing I see anybody ever calling him out for is his ridiculously stupid and heretical takes where he pretty much just makes up the religion wherever he goes. These things that we do. Thank you to David Gilmour for the absolutely dog crap lyrics that he wrote for a song. Oh, it makes preconceived music look like an intelligent person wrote it. So let's not pretend this isn't anything other than high school bullying, except my high school bully didn't worship Pachamama like your high school bully. So in this clip, Gaspers has a great line, "That's not normal political discourse." Gaspers, have you been around for the last 10 years?
An entire, I think I'm remembering the quote, an entire civilization will die tonight, never to come back again. That's not normal. That's not acceptable. It doesn't matter if he's a Catholic or not. It's unacceptable for any human being to say those things. That's not just normal political discourse.
So it's not normal political discourse to say we're going to wipe a country off the face of the earth. You know who said that, right? Like, hey, Donald Trump wasn't removed first from the dinner that he was being shot at. That's not normal. But yes, but it's Trump, so it was kind of probably done because it was funny. I don't know if Matt Gaspers knows this, but like, you know, Trump's not normal. He's not. And now for a completely unrelated clip of an alternative insanity to Trump, just so we know. When you say that Trump is not a normal person and that he shouldn't talk the way he does, here's Michael Malice, one of our former best content creators we used to follow, talking about Kamala Harris. Because I love this clip so much, I watch it at least once a year and laugh.
Right. If you're going after Officer Harris, you're either racist or sexist or ableist.
Right.
So they will use
Ableist.
Yeah, because she's a retard, literally retarded. I mean, Ukraine is a country in Europe, and Russia is another country and a powerful country, and Russia invaded Ukraine, and that's wrong.
What's really important?
That is called normal political discourse, according to Matt Gaspers, apparently. Is that what we're supposed to believe? I don't know. I just love this clip too much.
Important is what can be unburdened by what has been.
I think of her as America's wine mom because it seems like she's 3 deep by noon, and she's got the 3 phases of wine mom. She's got happy drunk. Oh my, this cereal's got a rabbit on it. It's so great. Cackling, cackling, cackling. Then there is trying to drunk at work, where you're trying to make sense, but you don't. Space is around us all and unites us all and inspires us all. And then there's, I'm being stern so you don't realize how plastered I am, and I'm making a point. That little girl was me. Now I'm going to go upstairs and don't knock on the door because I'm going to pass out. So those are her 3 ways she talks, and those are the wine mom. She absolutely can win. I do not think she's going to win because the more she talks, like in 2020, how bad do you have to be that you can't even make Iowa? She couldn't even compete with the mayor of South Bend.
In short, we're screwed. Look, I'd just like to point out, if we're talking about, hey, why don't we have a normal political conversation? We're done. This country is done. It is cooked. You can put a fork in it. If from a Catholic perspective, this country is 100% in the tanker. Okay, that's just funny. The ant is on this chat. What? No way. Why don't you tweet him that or wait, I don't see his comments anywhere. Anyway, part 2. In this clip, Lambert says that Gaspers came out and said the safest, most public opinion in the world, which is brave and stunning. Unbelievable.
Well, and thank God that you had the courage, or, you know, just the common sense, I suppose, to come out and say that, along with pretty much everyone else, didn't you? I mean, you know, Dr. Ed Fazer, Taylor Marshall.
And I'm saying it as someone who voted for Donald Trump.
Wait. So you're so stupid, you voted for the lesser of two evils, and then you're like, hey, maybe Donald Trump should not use words to prevent another lesser of two evils coming. And it's like, no, I don't like it. It's not polite discourse. But I love the just how safe the trad ink is. Trad ink is like, hey, why don't I think the same thing that 99% of the people of the world think? And then I'll laugh at the 1% like Chris Jackson, who's like, oh, Trump, I love you. Mwah, 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 mwah. No, of course, Trump is insane. In this next clip, Lambert exposes that he doesn't know that this is literally normal Trump. Unbelievable.
You know, there is no commentary about Trump from this side of the pond that is, actually, he's all right. Like, everyone now thinks he's totally deranged if they didn't think so before.
Why are Brits talking about American politics again? Hey, I'm a Brit, and I'm across the pond. That's why I'm a frog doing this show, by the way. And I think everybody in America is bollywonkers. Thank you, stupid Brit. Go back to your little island being infested with Muslims and who are killing all your people, and go fix your own problem. Thank you. Bye. Bye, British. Bye, losers of the war 250 years ago. A bunch of French frogs and Spanish knickerbockers came up and kicked you out of America and gave the colonies to George Washington. But really, this is like Anthony Aparte talking theology. This is like bollocks. I don't know.
You know, if it's a choice between Trump or Kamala, you're going to vote for Trump. We would, you know.
Wait, so after saying that Trump was completely deranged and nobody likes him over at the prawn, if it was between Trump and Kamala, I'd vote for the insane literal idiot who's completely deranged. So, Mark Lambert says he'd vote for Trump. Catherine Bennett says she'd vote for Trump. Matt Gasper said he'd vote for Trump. And then they all have a problem with Chris Jackson's voting for Trump and being like, Trump, I love you. Ah. And like, but aren't you all like, in a way, kind of being like, Trump, I love you? Well, I don't know. This is blatant hypocrisy. Where's the blatant hypocrisy drop? Blatant hypocrisy drop.
Totally get that. But what worried me is precisely the messianism that you're talking about. The fact that there were a lot of people before the election talking about Trump like he was the solution to all of our problems.
Yes, that's because people are stupid and they say this literally every single election. Also, they didn't really talk about right-wing populism, which has been a hot topic in America for about 25 years, so I don't understand why these two are on the show. There actually is an interesting angle from right-wing populism and Trump. But then, they're just like, oh, Trump is just God. Okay, no one thinks that. It's called right-wing populism. It's been a movement for years and decades. Okay, Okay, let's just be ignorant. Yes. Haha. Hosts reject the communion with the Anglican that his Pope accepts. Now, this is like being under the federal government, but not under the local government. Make it make sense. Come on, they go.
He says, Trad Inc., that's us apparently, has no time to inform their audiences of the absurd sacrilege Leo is allowing in Rome right now, as can be seen below. He's referring to the meeting with the pretend Archbishop of Canterbury, the cosplayer Sarah Mullally, which all of us obviously reject. I don't think, I don't think
we posted an article about it today, and we posted about it yesterday as well.
Wait, so they're in communion with this archbishop lady? Because, sorry, you're in communion with the guy who says you're an archbishop. You're in the world with Pope Leo. And then you say, well, I don't personally accept her. So now it's just, I personally don't accept Donald Trump as my president. I don't have to pay taxes. I personally don't accept, Saint dare say, so I won't say him in the office. It's like, well, what is this? Is this just pure Protestantism? Is Trad Inc. nothing more than Protestant lopping as Catholics? Oh, you cannot separate yourself from the church, so said Francis. So I guess the cities are part of the church, even if we don't want to. Oh, no! I'm not a part of that church! Let me out! Let me out! I literally talked about literalism literally yesterday. I say, Schmuckers, that is an accurate statement.
So,
in this clip, Gasp says words like, Trump committed blasphemy, who cares? He allows abortion and illegals in the country. It's like, look at Trump did minor evil. I'm going to lose my mind over it. Bonkers.
He says, Trad Inc. is leading a novena of reparation for Trump's joke meme. He's referring to the blasphemous meme that portrayed Trump as our Lord. That was deleted within 24 hours. Thanks be to God for that. And he is correct.
Yes, that's right. Thanks be to God that Trump didn't do the slight little mockery of something he probably doesn't believe in, because I don't think Trump believes in anything. But I really do enjoy all those illegals and Somalians and those judges killing people in America. That's not a big issue at all. Like Trump's tweets. Oh my goodness.
1 Peter 5, it was leading a novena for that. But he says, do not expect a single bit of reparation for the photo below. Sad. So not sure how he has the ability to know whether or not we as individuals will make reparation for that, which is certainly within our power to do. But
yes, I can just make reparations for anything I want. Did you know if I say bad words, I just go, oh, I'm sorry. Now you have nothing over me. Did the Pope call down an asteroid upon Russia? No. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a magical fairyland world. I don't think any individual can make reparations for a public act, and it would be a public act on your part. You got to kind of like deal with a priest and stuff. Anyway, so you're saying, and that's not saying that you all shouldn't make reparations for watching this show. You should be down on your knees saying, why am I watching this show? This show is terrible. So you're saying that making communion with non-Catholics is a sin and is being committed by the hierarchy of the Novus Ordo, and therefore I have to publicly reject it, because I publicly reject the hierarchy of the Novus Ordo while belonging to the hierarchy of the Novus Ordo. Yes, I think. You see, you can't really know what anyone in Trad thinks because their religion changes day to day, moment to moment, Peter Pollywog time to Peter Pollywog minute. Yes. Did you know? Okay, we'll just go on to the next. In this clip, when I usually have guests on, I usually make sure they publicly admit to not knowing anything at all. You might have wondered, why did Matt Gaspers have on British people to discuss American politics when their channel's not about American politics? This is because Matt Gaspers is largely stupid from filling his mouth with loads of seeds because he's a chipmunk. So, Catherine Bennett is going to say, oh, you know what? I don't even know who this Chris Jackson fellow is. And then we're all going to sit here and say, why are you on a show about Chris Jackson that you don't even know who he is? Ooh.
I don't know who the person you're speaking about is. I don't think I've ever had any interaction with this gentleman, and I don't understand that I'm included in a comment about attacking yours truly. So I don't actually know what we're talking about, but
yes. Thank you. Wait, why is that on the screen? Get that off. Thank you for admitting you don't know why you're on the screen, what you're doing here, and that you're here. Yes. Hi, I'm in the market. I don't have money. I don't want anything. I'm just going to walk around a bit and enjoy the air conditioning. Well, that would make sense, though. We have to make less sense than that. Okay. I'm in the market, and I don't have any money, and I don't want to buy anything, and I'm wearing a giant blob outfit. Yes, I think that's a good analogy, and that's pretty much what she does until about 40 minutes later in the show, where she actually starts talking again. In this clip, Lambert has a brain, and he's going to let people know what the truth is. That's right. Mark Lambert is a hero of God, and he's here to let the little idiots out there know what the truth is. I know.
And what Chris is doing is he's entering into a sort of rhetorical game that pumps up everyone who is concerned. He's using that concern to say, I know what the answers are, and they are to abandon the church.
I would like to apologize for Mark Lambert for saying Mark Lambert has a brain. That was a lie, and I retracted it. I hereby do reparations for publicly lying that Mark Lambert has a brain, because it clearly doesn't. Hey, Chris Jackson says, oh, I'm so negative. Everybody leave the church now because I'm so negative. I don't think Chris Jackson has ever said those words or anything like them. If anything, Chris Jackson thrives, absolutely thrives off of writing too many words in every single article talking about how bad things are. Like I think he likes it being bad. I don't think he wants you to leave the church. He wants you to read his articles, because when you're done reading it, you'll be like, hey, Chris Jackson, no more words, please. Please, I'll embrace tradition. Just no more words. Shut up. You know it's true, and it's going to move me up a tax bracket, so I have to actually slow it off. In California, I'm actually making an exact amount of money, so I don't pay more taxes. Shush. The Sede Beconte Rewind, the host can personally tell you the truth, but Chris Jackson isn't allowed to. What?
The pretend Archbishop of Canterbury, the cosplayer Sarah Mullally, which all of us obviously reject.
To say, I know what the answers are, and they are to abandon the church.
Wait, so you're personally allowed to reject someone you are in communion with through the not Pope Leo, and Chris Jackson is wrong to say anything because you've decided Chris Jackson's position is to literally not be Catholic. So what we have is a professional podcasters just simply lying about other people and just making things up, and then be like, I'm not trading, I'm just making things up. Oh, look at me. I'm a dad and I have a job. Ho, ho, ho. Well, I'm a frog and I've got a knighted frog. I mean, I am an... Okay, never mind. Let's just continue on. What about the cosplayer in Rome? Well, what about him? He's got nice clothes. Have you seen those clothes? He says Wamba Fat all the time. Mention me, jerk. Gaspers. Mention me, jerk Gaspers. For some reason, Matt Gaspers does not mention Sede Picante, and so Sede Picante starts writing weird notes in the video.
He claims that he is not a sedevacantist. He is obviously deeply sympathetic, at the very least, deeply sympathetic to sedevacantism, which is evident from within the first month on his Substack last May. He published an article I'll show you later that is defending the theological legitimacy of the sedevacantist position.
Yes. So I think that, you see, one of the things people like about the Sedes is they're vicious. They like to let you have it. And if you haven't noticed, Chris Jackson just likes to do one thing. Really, really, really let people have it and just keep on letting people have it. It's kind of funny. So, who would Chris Jackson want to team up with? Could it be the people who are letting them have it, which is the same thing he's doing, or with the people who are pumping the brakes, which is the exact opposite thing of what Chris Jackson is doing? Let me think about this for about, could it be that Matt Gaspers hates sedevacantism for no reason? In this clip, this is not the show for that. Fine. We'll do it since they've want it, they get it. Boom! The wolf pack. Yes, the pack of wolves howling in the desert, completely destroying everything. Blimey, Arisa. And then there was destruction. And guess where the wolf pack went? Because they were the wolf pack. And now back to the show. Share the system audio. This is what we call the Scott Hahn fallacy. It's when you put foreign languages up as if that makes your point better or more important. Yes.
I mean, we're all familiar with the words bitter and zeal, but
we're all familiar with the words bitter and zeal. So why don't we put the words bitter and zeal up in Greek?
I think it's good to put them in a scriptural context. So the phrase actually appears in the letter of St. James, which...
Yes. This is called, "Hi, I'm Scott Hahn. Did you know? And that makes the meaning that we already knew the meaning better. Wow! Buy my book. I'm going to do this for the next 30 years. These guys are beating it up. Do you guys know what metanoia means? It means I'm meta annoying you right now. Complete bog water bill. Hump. I say pish posh to you, Scott Hahn, and your stupid cult of referring to Greek words for no reason at all except to sound smart.
You have not experienced Shakespeare until you have read him in the original Klingon.
And I love that line. Talk bong, talk Bangkok. That's completely different than saying to be or not to be. It's like completely different. We'll skip the "I'm a theologian with a full-time job." In this clip, Gaspers asks Lambert his take on the scripture passage. We already did that.
Well, just that I think that what we get from James there is that bitter zeal produces disorder, suspicion, and faction, whereas true zeal produces peace, reasonableness, and sincerity. And if you look at what big modernism is trying to do, that he's trying to cause disorder, suspicion, and faction.
Yes, did you know? Because Chris Jackson writes about things that other people write about, therefore he must be doing it for suspicion. Dun dun dun. How would you know that? How would you know that? Hey, Chris Jackson, let me ask you a question. Now that I've got you on the phone, bing, 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 do you write for the sake of suspicion? And Chris Jackson answers, yes, I write for the sake of suspicion. Yes, I love suspicion. I used to watch the show Suspicion. Yes. No. Well, he did. No, okay, well, never mind then. Mark Lambert isn't a complete idiot making up reality. Part 3, and now it's time for Mark Lambert, and this was part 4, by the way, so this is going to go on for quite a while. And now it's time for Mark Lambert to say a factoid. Wow! Oh, suspicious.
And when you think about, I always think that the Greek name for the devil, Diablos, means, one of the meanings is the scatterer.
Did you know the Greek word for frog is super amazing man who makes millions of dollars? Unbelievable. Yes, that's right. Like, thanks. Hey, did you know? Guys. Diablos. And it's like, guys. I'm saying, like, Chris Jackson is like Diablos. And, like, Diablos is like suspicious man. Like, guys. You're not going to believe how good this point is. Like, suspicious and scatter both begin with S. And that's like where the Diablos comes from. Guys. Now this is becoming silly, guys. Oh, thank you, Mark, for the tidbit of brains you borrowed. I looked up things to say to make yourself sound smarter 101. The United States Constitution was written in 1976. Maybe. Now he says Chris Jackson makes a faction within a faction. Does anybody even know what Chris Jackson is like? Literally R&R Todd. He hates the new church. He's like Esquire, but even more wordy. That's what Chris Jackson actually is. And these people are like, Chris Jackson is a cult leader who sends Sede Picante 25 texts a day. Unbelievable.
And wherever you see division, you see the work of the enemy. And I think that what's extraordinary about this particular movement or this particular commentator is that he's creating a faction within a faction.
Yes. Chris Jackson is creating a faction within a faction. What is the name of this faction? We don't know. We called them Trad Inc., which is a faction. They're like, don't call us a faction. And then, in response to you calling us a faction, we'll call you a faction. Ha! We've got you, Chris Jackson. You've been completely destroyed. I bet you're crying right now in your broom closet with all of those electric brooms you call a vacuum cleaner, but we over here in Great Britain call them electric broom. Did you know Harry Potter also has electric broom? And that's a complete distortion by Hollywood about British culture. Yes, he flies in the sky on an electric vacuum. Anyway, do you remember when they said Trad wasn't real? Oh, well, here's more proof that it is real.
One of the things that I most respect about Michael Matt is that his mantra to stop the circular firing squad. He says, unite the clans, doesn't he? And that's one of the things that draws me to him.
One of the things that draws me to Michael Matt is this mantra of saying unite the clans. But isn't that the entire critique of Trad Inc? Is that it is a movement to unite the clans behind a Zippit line? That sounds like it's full of stank. That's what it sounds like.
But it's also...
Well, I say it's utter bollocks, whatever Michael Matt is doing. Oh.
Having the ability to bring light instead of heat.
Oh, the ability to bring light instead of... I need to listen again. Okay.
But it's also having the ability to bring light instead of heat.
To bring light instead of heat? What? Thanks for that, Mark. Oh, thanks for that, Mark. And now he's going to say he wants to hear both sides of the argument. I expect my invite soon. And the best part is he literally has Chris Jackson in the comments during this video, and he never says, please give Chris Jackson the link. We need him to come up and talk. I want to hear what he has to say.
And what we're trying to do is hear both sides of the argument and to have a discussion so that hopefully people understand the argument better.
No, yeah. Yeah. Yes. And how many tragic people do that other than Stephen Cox? Like, Stephen Cox by himself has like 90% of all the actual conversations between people who disagree. Mostly because Sadie Picante stopped trying to reach out because he kept getting no answers and he started to feel stupid. And now let's get back to your... Chris Jackson has bitter zeal.
Bitter zeal. If this doesn't, I don't know what does. On Holy Saturday, he chose to post a picture of the man who played Caiaphas, obviously, in the Passion of the Christ. And this was his message. He says, I think if Caiaphas had a calm demeanor, spoke softly, was nice, pleasant, added in some Latin, and kissed some babies, Trad Inc. would have been completely okay with the crucifixion.
Yeah, as I don't think that's a very far... I actually thought that was pretty boring. Like, Chris Jackson says the same thing 45 times, and he keeps on escalating it slightly higher, and then you take the last one he says, and then you say, oh, look, here's Chris Jackson, he's insane. He has bitter zeal. It's like, no, actually, in context, we said, hey, look at this lovely apostasy your fake pope committed, and then they said, yeah, we're going to talk about Trump and his tweet. And he said, grab them by the kitty cat 11 years ago, guys. Like, it's not how a president is supposed to sound, guys. You're like, oh. Okay, just change the channel whenever you get in trouble. Okay, I think we need to hear the brilliant Mark Lambert's analysis and breakdown of this tweet. I bet it's going to be something like, man, Chris Jackson is a meanie but genie.
And he's not the only person doing this on social media or, on Substack or whatever either, is he? He's, basically, I'm the only one who's got the answers and everyone else is lying to you.
Why is he pouting? Have you seen that position? Let's go back a little bit. What kind of a position is this to podcast in? Hump! I'm saying hump! To Chris Jackson. He thinks he's got the only one with the answers. You know that Chris Jackson never ever proposes answers in his stuff that he reads. He's just like, hey, look at this stupid thing that happened. And then he's like, isn't it stupid? And then you're like, yeah, it is, obviously. Thanks for pointing it out to me. Did you have to say so in 5,000 words? Please, Chris Jackson, brevity is the soul of wit. Go read Ice Truckers. Their content is fantastically short and brief and hilarious. They even mention us every once in a while, which makes it even better. Yes, Chris Jackson, he says, I'm the only one in the whole world with any truth whatsoever. Okay.
Else is lying to you.
Yes. Is he pouting with that? Oh, next we have tweet Carbongos. Oh, yes, Carbongos.
How does this help this young man? So this is in regard to Nicholas Cavazos, who was formerly associated with Pelican Plus, but
he left Pelican Plus before it burned down. Ha ha!
Who's going through some kind of a personal crisis of faith.
So how does it help us to say, we'll tweet about Nick Cavangos. How does it help Nick Cavangos? You mean the man that he was literally being royal roaded by multiple professors and influencers for years, everybody letting him go on their show, letting him spout his stupid nonsense. He was barely even a Catholic 3 minutes, and all of a sudden he's got Scott Hahn on his podcast. Yeah, how does this help him? Why don't we think about helping Nick Carbongos, who keeps getting help every single month for like 30 months? The guy is so infantilized that we don't even know if he can stand on his own 2 feet. He keeps threatening us that he's going to do a new show that looks better, that is prep, and then it's literally the same show he did before with a picture different in the background. Like they're the most Peter Pollywog, what are you drinking in that stupid bog you live in? Man in the world is Knickerbonkers. Knickerbonkers get invited to do multiple shows, get multiple invites from other shows, ignores them, blocks critics, and then we're still asking, how do we help Nick Knickerbongos 3 years into the show of Nick Knickerbongos being a content creator? And then, where's all the content? He deleted it all. He deleted everything. Nick Knickerbongos, please help me. I know what I'll do. I'll rant about everything like a doomer, and then I'll delete everything. Wow, I think the man needs psychiatric help. He needs to have his internet taken away from him. He needs to be locked up and whipped with big steely whips until he comes to his senses that he's actually just an idiot who needs to shave. Like, oh my goodness, man. Have you ever looked at Nick Knickerbongos without him being shaved? You realize he was 27 and a retard. And he's like, no, I must hide my retardedness. I must hide it with his beard. I will put Rogaine on my face, and then everyone will respect me because the Rogaine and the facial hair makes me so much older and stuff. Now, yeah, let's go back to the show. Sorry, I know WM View, yes, very long-winded, very annoying, but you can control F their document, which is fantastic. Leave both Chris Jackson alone and my good friend Nikki.
And in response to a video that he put out, first we have Nova Sordo watch Mario Dirksen, one of the leading sedevacantist commentators, saying that
what? Mario Dirksen is not half as leading as Sede Picante, who did 25 shows on Knickerbongers. Well, Mike, 5 shows, and Sailorcast did about 70 shows on him. I'll tell you, Trad Inc. only want to mention the nice guys, not the bullies.
Nick Cavazos, a former co-founder of Pelican Plus, announces he is still Catholic but is open to, quote, other traditions.
Yes, the same thing. Saying you're open to other traditions is the same thing as saying you're not a Catholic, dummy.
This means he is doubting Catholicism or ready to doubt it, which means he does not have the virtue of faith. As if it's Mario's job to judge the internal forum. And
wait, are we talking about the internal forum? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but haven't we been judging Chris Jackson's internal forum like the entire show? Like, hasn't Mark Lambert said, I'm Chris Jackson, I believe I'm the only one with any single point ever, and I have all the truth in the whole entire world? Didn't he say that Chris Jackson, he's intending to make another faction within a faction? It's almost like, wait, Matt Gaspers, did you even listen to your own show that you were on? Do you just like, me? Every time Mark Lambert talks and you just like, wait to unmute him. Wait, is he done talking? Mute. Keep him muted. I don't want to hear him. That's a great line. That's a great point, Mark. Moving on to the next tweet. Yeah, because I didn't hear anything you said. I had you muted because you're so boring. That
manner.
So Gaspers said Mario can't judge the internal form. Well, Gaspers does not 20 seconds later. There he is.
The tension usually resolves in one of two directions, Chris says. Either a person gives up on Catholicism altogether, or he clings more firmly to tradition and begins to say openly what the crisis means. Wink, nod, sedevacantism.
Wink, nod, sedevacantism. Wait, is that Matt Gaspers going above the tweet and adding words that aren't there on the page? What? That was just like what he just accused Mr. Mario Dirksen from. Yes, it's almost as if, and I dare to say this, Matt Gaspers is a hypocrite. Get the drop. Where's the drop? Close the thing. Then I'm not on the screen because I'm getting a beer. Ah, delicious. I know. I've always wondered this one too. Is this going on the Steve Skojic path? Yes. Because that's the actual interesting question. Does he go full-scale destruction? It could be the most interesting thing ever. The local government conducting foreign policy rather than permitting the feds to find the local government is with heaven in the Holy See, probably fine. Yes, I think that's what that that comment said. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
I mean, that's how I read that. I mean, that's how I read that. I mean, that's how I read that.
I mean, that's how I read that. See, the issue is, if we're going to say we can't look into people's internal forum and then immediately turn around and say, oh, that's how I read it. Well, but then let Chris Jackson read it his way. Like, there's no problem, right? Because then fair is fair. But what trading does is they say, I get to have whatever I want to say, and you don't get to have whatever you want to say. Sedevacantism is the best theory, but it's only a possibility. And so says Olin Oblinsky. With a name like that, you know he's a Ukrainian asset in our country to snipe Donald Trump.
Like, I don't know how else to interpret that.
And now we come to Mark's comment.
Deeply, it troubles me. It really does, because for a number of reasons, and
it troubles me for a number of reasons. And Mark Sizzle hasn't recovered his brain. Okay, I mean, I just like you're like, hey, what do you think about this? Well, it troubles me. Okay. Are you going to give us 45 seconds of why it troubles you, and then Sedepacante listens and says, no, yes, okay, edit that out, delete it, it's stupid. Anyway, so later he starts saying that Chris Jackson is using suspicion as a massive framework, so prove him wrong.
Things. But we're talking about, like, there's a massive leap here where he's using it as a framework. You know, you start to view everything as suspicious. Everything.
What? Fireman, why are you here? I've been told by parishioners and visitors to my traditionalist chapters that one of their favorites is Chris Jackson, and I've never heard Matt Gaspers once in this context in 10 years. Yeah, that's because Matt Gaspers is boring. Like, Chris Jackson is like, hey, are you dead? Have I beaten you to death with a huge bat? Well, what about if I get some gasoline and pour it on you and then you get burned? And then he's like, hey, are you done yet? Because I've got a tractor here. While you were burning, I went and bought a tractor. You're like, okay, fine, run me over, Chris. I'm already dead. But if it is going to make you happy, Chris, no, it makes him very enjoyable. You really get a good sense of like, I got those running teenagers going to the 5 o'clock mass.
Everyone does. You question the motives. Everyone at the Vatican does. You know, they're all obviously coming from a position of hating God, and I mean, it's just so fatuous and ridiculous. And it's the opposite of what we're called to do as Christians, which is to start from a position where we.
So what Mark is trying to say is that assuming that the people that have been evil for the last 10 years are actually evil. And what we're supposed to be doing as Christians is just spreading flowers and love everywhere we go.
You know, take people on face value, and that we believe what they're trying to tell us.
So he ends that comment with, we should believe at face value what other people are trying to tell us.
People on face value, and that we believe what they're trying to tell us.
So when Ratzinger said, this is the quote, right? Quote, if one is to look for a global diagnosis of the text of Gaudium et Spes, one could say that it is, along with the text on religious liberty and world religions, it is a revision of the syllabus of Pope Pius IX, a kind of counter-syllabus. So if just taking Mark's own words and using them seriously, we could actually say that everything Chris Jackson says is right. So, like, Mark, do you have a brain? Oh, this is terrible. Another clip of Mark not knowing what he is arguing for.
that fundamentally, right? God is in charge of this. Do we believe this is a divine institution founded by Christ, to provide his bride, his, spotless bride on earth, or not? And if we do we not trust God?
So, do we not trust God that he's going to make everything good at the end? And all we need to do is just be happy and spread love and kindness. Do you know you're in Britain, right? You know what's going on in that country? We just need to spread love and kindness, and then everything is good. Yeah, but that's why we love Chris Jackson, because his counter arguments when he's wrong about something, or the stupidest counter arguments in the world, that you can just dismiss it and get back to the good content of him calling out young teenage girls going on running trips. How dare they go running in those shorts? Unbelievable. But I just don't understand why someone who makes content would be online in a world of people who make content where half the time the content is vicious, talking about someone who's vicious when he's like, all we have to do is just believe in God and just have faith. That's your answer. That's it. Oh, hey, I'm Matt Gaspers. Welcome to the show. And then you're like, I'm Mark Lambert, and I'm here just to say this. I don't really hate Chris Jackson. I think we're here to spread love and goodness, and we should treat everyone with charity, and so I'm not going to say any more than that. And then Mark Lambert will be done. But instead, he's got to keep on going. Now, Mark Lambert will argue that he knows 100% the internal form of Christ. Yes. Yes. Yes, he knows exactly that this is the infallible church and everything that's going on is perfectly good.
To deliver, the sacraments to it. Like, the argument that they're coming up with is that there are billions of people literally on the earth who aren't receiving valid sacraments, who aren't being fed. Well, then Christ's mission has failed, isn't it?
Yeah. If Christ doesn't do what I want him to do, then Christ has failed. That's right. I dare say Mark just judged God wrong. Mark says if he allows a few 10 million, 50 million, 100 million Germans to fall away into Lutheranism, then God is wrong and God didn't want those souls to be saved. And that's not the God that I believe in. In which case, Mark is just a modernist, and why are we talking about him? Now he's going to assert that he just magically knows everything. In short, Mark is his own God. Yes.
And I know they're saying no, because if there's one bishop, it's just nonsense.
It's just nonsense. Did you hear that? Someone disagreed with me. It's just nonsense. Catherine, did you hear that? Someone said that they have a different take than me. It's nonsense. Good night, I dare say. Good night, Christine. God bless, Mary keep you, and don't let the bed bugs bite. Those wankers are terrible.
It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's just patently nonsense. And I think if you look with the eyes of faith,
well, yes, I just look with the eyes of faith, and then everybody's other opinions are just wrong. Now, I dare say that if we were just to look with the eyes of faith, then, everything would be right. Why don't I just look with the eyes of faith at the lotto numbers? It's much more realistic than, I just think everyone's just going to heaven.
Even at something as horrendous, that we thought was disastrous, like the Francis pontificate, you see that has drawn people to Christ.
Yes. I'm getting the accents mixed up. Yes, Francis pontificate drew people to Christ. That just ranks blasphemy as far as I'm concerned.
Patently nonsense. And I think if you look with the eyes of faith, even at something as horrendous, that we thought was disastrous, like the Francis pontificate, you see that has drawn people to Christ.
Yes, now he's certain the people are being drawn to Christ through Pope Francis. How would you know that? Literally, you can't know that for certain. I've had multiple people say, hey, Sede Pecante, you've helped me understand Sede Vacantism, and you're the cool guy. I'm going to be a Sede. Okay, enjoy yourself. I hope you stay. Because I can't actually just say, oh, you've been drawn to Christ through me, because I'm so freaking holy. 7 minutes left, and then the show is done. I know which eyes of faith. This is the big question we don't know. Part 4, this definitely isn't Trad Inc., and we don't refer to each other. Always. Every single show.
But people can search on Anthony's X. It's a clip from a show they did, and it's called the Judas Spirit of Sedevacantism.
The Judas Spirit of Sedevacantism, which was nothing more than calumny against traditionalism and Sedevacantists. Then we're just going to say, hey, do you want to see some fresh calumny? Just go to Anthony Abate. It's like a giant white pillar of calumny.
And in which Chris, among others, are mentioned. So Chris is...
Mention Sedevacante, Matt Gaspers, you large hamster.
Response, this was on April 14th. First, I'm not even a Sed, but again...
Apparently, when Chris Jackson publicly says he's not a Sedevacantist, he says this repeatedly. They still say, yeah, but you like them, therefore you're pretty much one, as if that was a pejorative. And apparently Trad Inc. can just judge the internal form of Chris Jackson. Chris Jackson is a Sede because they say he is. Yes. Welcome to the world where you just make everything up. In this clip, Gasper shows he doesn't understand theology and brings up entire arguments which cannot really stand the test of time. Here's Sedevacante with autism, in other words.
The visibility of the church and the apostolicity of the church can be preserved even if there is not a single bishop on earth with ordinary jurisdiction, which I find very hard to square that with traditional theological manuals, as I've posted before on.
So what Chris Jackson is saying is that it is open to debate that the entire Sedevacantist thesis could be correct. And because he says it's open to debate, it could work. Therefore, that there's not really a problem here. And then Matt Gaspers is going to try to disprove the entire theory, and we're going to show in very simply why he can't be right. Excuse me. I forgot to mute. Excuse me, but Sedevacante is drinking Modelo. It's not his fault.
It is evident that authority can be transmitted only by legitimate succession.
So, quoting, I think, Father Barry, says that authority can only be transmitted by legitimate succession. But I love the infighting. I love it. Without the infighting, I don't learn. You see, the problem is, I learn more from the infighting with people I like than people I don't like. Because the people I don't like are like, hey, or you are F-word slur. And you're like, no, can you respond to my argument? F-word slur. And you're like, oh. Calling me a frog is not a slur, you retard. I actually am a frog.
Therefore, this is Father Barry, the church must have a legitimate or formal succession of pastors to transmit apostolic authority from age to age.
Amen. And Sedevacante's claim is, if you just don't claim that you have apostolic authority and you have general mystical body of Christ authority, then you would still have the same authority, just by different name. Humph.
He also says regarding jurisdiction, it is not sufficient, therefore, that a church have valid orders, for example, the Eastern Orthodox. It must also have a legitimate or formal succession of ministers, reaching back in an unbroken line to the apostles, upon whom our Lord conferred all authority to rule his church.
You don't need to say this. You wouldn't have a show without infighting. Yes, my entire show is based on infighting. Now, we notice that the apostolic lineage is given to the 4 main bishops and all the other valid orders who accept all the proper teachings. But the papal authority, we do not claim. You see, one of the technicalities that the people who just make the discussion is that they want to make the sedes claim more than the sedes do claim. The sedes and the traditional individual clergy, the independent ones, do not claim ordinary jurisdiction, nor do they claim a papal mandates and papal jurisdiction. They claim simply jurisdiction. Because they have to fulfill the common good. Hence, we live in a privated state. Anyway, so let me get the epic pen out. Okay, there's Mama. No, he's Daddy. There's Mama. We tell Mama because Mama's got the triangle, not the legs, right? And then there's Junior. I promise there's a point to this. And then there's Junior's sister. Then there's the cat. There actually is a point. Don't run away from the stream. And the dog. The dog is like an elephant. He's got a big snout. Right. So, what happens is, I need to get a different screen. Just wait for a second. Get paint here. There we go. Oh, much better. The dad, he's in a massive car accident. But you see, the father, ordinarily, he has all the jurisdiction of the entire family in himself. He's dead. So he's gone. So where's the jurisdiction in the family? Well, there's got to be jurisdiction in the family because the mother still exists. But then the mother next day, the potted plant falls on her head and the mother's gone. But where's the jurisdiction in the family? Someone's got to feed Junior and someone's got to feed Jane. And we've got to feed the cat and we've got to feed the dog. Well, you see, we taught the kids to feed the cat and the dog. So she feeds the cat and he feeds the dog. But they were feeding the dog through the authority of the father. Now the father's dead. So where's the authority to feed the cat and the dog? Could it be that the authority is in them themselves and that because they have the same nature as the father and the mother, they have the authority in a privated state that only comes to life later on in life when the whole church is here? This an alternative explanation for why jurisdiction, being a property of the church, natural to the people, would persist even without the structures of mother and father or the popes and the cardinals. And they could still perform their functions. Put a big check mark for your function fulfilled, because it's within their nature and they have to do it in order to save their souls. It's almost like if you just use a different explanation, you get a different... I just stopped sharing the screen. Share the screen. You get a different type of theology. And this is why most of the theology is bonkers and no one should listen to it. Okay, that was the lesson in autism by Sidney Perconte using natural objects as a analogy to supernatural objects. Thank you. Now, Stephen Cox is mentioned. Oh, yes. Now, Mark's point here is you have to live the faith, not this heady stuff. Heady stuff. Is that a word?
Like, for it to be accurate, notwithstanding whatever sort of canonical argument, which in my experience, I mean, Stephen Cox is another one where I've, and like looked at what he's saying and what he's doing, and he picks things out of context.
Does anybody actually know if Stephen Cox ever picks anything out of context? The dude is like ridiculously good journalist. And in my 2 conversations with him, I did have to say that to him a few times. Like, thanks for actually doing prep for your show, man. It really helps.
Doesn't try and understand them. It's like he has no theology.
No, yes, either Mark... yeah, if you don't agree with Mark Lambert, you have no theology. Either Mark has a great show with detailed points, or he's just judging people, and yeah, he's just angry. How dare Stephen Cox or Mark Jackson or anybody, any priest, judge me? Huh? And 5 seconds later, Mark is judging everyone again.
And fundamentally, what you're saying, if you follow this sedevacantist sort of trope, is that God has abandoned his people, hasn't he? Like that.
if you follow the opposite line of me, then it says that God has abandoned everyone because I'm right, and if I'm not right, then God is wrong. Okay.
It's kind of Gnosticism that you've got to know this secret information. Or could it be that the church is the church?
Could it be that the church is the church? Well, I dare say, I think the church is the church. And I think because you and I have different opinions about the church might make us wrong. Not the church wrong. Anyway, after that comment, Mark blasphemed God, so we have to edit it out. Oops. It wasn't an intentional blasphemy. It was just the way it was said. It was like blaming God for the evils in the church. So we edited
but I mean, there's an inconsistency sometimes with Trump between what he says at 9 a.m. and what he says at 11 a.m.
Yes, thanks. Thank you for that. Trump is an inconsistent, arrogant asshole. Wow! Well, congratulations. He's only been this for 40 years. Thank you, Catherine, for your contributions. Now she
He's
says
against
more
blessing
words.
gay couples. He's against blessing gay couples. He's against blessing gay couples.
Wait, did he just say Pope Francis? In context, he's talking about Pope Francis. Pope Francis is against blessing gay couples. That's just a lie. That literally is just a lie. Excuse me. And by the way, the Jane Austen character, Elizabeth Bennet, is what the thumbnail's about. I don't know what the person who plays Elizabeth Bennet is in the 1950 Pride and Prejudice, but, I've only watched it 1,000,000 times. Now I'm going to make a good argument against sedevacantism soon, and I am not Amanda. I know. You always get like these wackos who like, here's my good arguments against sedevacantism. You guys don't give me everything I want because you're a bunch of slow-moving, infighting, cranky theologians. Like, yes, we are. This is a problem. That's why I'm trying to not discuss theology anymore. Yes.
He's against blessing gay couples.
Yes. Yeah, sure. He's against blessing gay couples, except for the part where he explicitly kept the blessings for gay couples on the books. Just don't formalize it. Now, this clip makes Chris Jackson look pretty dumb, but I don't really care about the Trump stuff, so, who cares?
Trump is the one standing in the way of the deep state. Meanwhile, Trump ridicules the Epstein files as nonsense, won't release the full Epstein files.
See, this is the show. Now the show's begun. We're an hour and 16 minutes into reviewing this terrible, terrible abomination of a desolation show. And now the show's begun. Oh, yes. Trump ridicules the Epstein people. This is like, now Chris Jackson is running for the hills. Okay, that's it. That's the whole clip. Okay. Just trust chatting. Now this next clip is kind of tone deaf.
The White House is currently doing kind of a...
What? Mario was better than Sette Picante? No. Mario does theology where he's like, hey, God, wait, are you trying to get me to talk about Mario? It's the easiest thing in the world just to do that. Anyway, back to the show.
Propaganda campaign with stuff like this. Trust in Trump with the salute. Another version of it has, be quiet, just shut up and trust Trump, trust the plan.
That's not it. Sedevacantum a la Mario makes Vatican I ridiculous. Now, I do love reading the comments of the opposing side, but since I actually know who this person is, it's like, no, okay. I don't want to alienate my audience because I actually like my audience and I like comments because comments mean algorithm gets boosted. And then they see my stupid thumbnails and they're like, oh, this show's got a talking frog without a moving mouth. This show's retarded. And then they click off and they don't leave a comment and I don't care. Got one view and it destroys the timed watch.
And this is a video
Trust the science. Come on.
Now, well, the point that they were making, and their points right there, were completely accurate. There's a lot of retarded Trump stuff. Okay, you win. There's about 2 minutes of good content at that point where Matt Gaspers points out that Chris Jackson's dumb. Okay. Can we talk about Pachamama yet? Welcome to the Cathoverse. It's all drama, no truth. It's just our group versus your group. That is the next clip, I guess.
It is such a spectacle.
I know. No, I know. This is the thing. Chris Jackson, being a snarky, middle-aged, whiny, complaining man, and they're like, "Oh, Chris Jackson." You're like, why respond at all? You didn't for Pachamama, did you? So Catherine Bennett is going to say all of this is just like whiny, complaining, and we shouldn't have even talked about it. No, we shouldn't have.
Spectacle. This drama, even us talking about it now, is drama. There's Trump.
Yes. Let's listen to that clip again, because this is the actual adult in the room. There's two men and a woman on the show, and the woman makes the only point that should have been said. Unbelievable.
It is such a spectacle. This drama, even us talking about it now, is drama. There's Trump.
I don't have the super tip set up anyway, so I can't even use it. In this clip, everything is Chris Jackson's fault, and Mark goes on a performative contradiction. Yes, I love it.
And our job is to draw closer to Jesus. And I think when something happens within the church, and we all comment on it and say, "Oh, hang on a minute,"
By the way, if you know there's it's Animos Mortalium. If you know the document, I think it's Animus Mortalium. Maybe it's not. I forget. It's the one on the Christian constitutions by Pope Leo XIII. It actually proves this is correct, by the way. Because in paragraph number 5, he says that the human society must have a leader over it. But the Irish society, as Murray Rothbard pointed out in his book, For a New Liberty, existed for over 500 years without a single solitary unified leader over them. And instead, they had something like 60 competing cantons where, people argued and fought over their rights. So, technically speaking, if heirs of historical dates and historical facts were included in papal documents, then Leo XIII is actually a heretic. So, I mean, if you want to go so far, the amount of contradictions you're going to reach is going to be millions of contradictions, and I have no idea what this voice is anymore. Anyway, back to the show.
What's going on with this? This doesn't make any sense. Bit worried about, Tucho Fernandez or whatever. I think that's completely legitimate.
Right, it's complete. I dare say it's completely legitimate to be completely worried about Tucho Fernandez. Huh.
Because what you're doing is you're helping people through, the trauma. And it's people like Chris who are whipping up the trauma.
Wait. So people like Chris are whipping up the trauma, but we're talking about the trauma to help people through the trauma. So the trauma's natural and normal, I guess. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to say the same exact thing as what Chris Jackson says, but in a really, really nice way. It's kind of like in that Men Without Thieves, where like the guy's like, ha 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 ha. Do you know Robin Hood's come back from the Crusades? Ha 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 ha. And he wants to kill you. Ha ha ha. Like, oh, Mark Lambert is actually a retard. This is fantastic.
But fundamentally, our job as Catholics.
Yes. We only drink whenever we do alcohol. I mean, we only drink right now when we stream because we wanted it to be more fun. And we thought we're just not having enough fun. I need more jovial. Yes.
On the day-to-day basis is to draw closer to Jesus.
Our job is to draw people closer to Christ by being happily presenting that Tucho Fernandez, I'm summarizing what he says, is writing immoral books. And so we got to be like, aha, at least you didn't read the immoral book that Tucho Fernandez said. And you're like, oh, I didn't. No, I didn't. Now I feel good about myself. Now I feel like I'm going to go pray. Yes. Have we made excuses for the crimes of evil people? Here you go. Evil is normal everywhere. And if you object, you're the problem. This is a larger part of a conversation that, like, you could probably spend 2 hours talking about. But I just really hate it. The way people are like, oh, the church was full of evil people. And then I was like, I'm wrong because I noticed they were evil. Okay. Yay.
God forgive me. I remember being that person. I was a cradle Catholic, and I remember falling away from the church and saying, I'll go to confession, all right, when there's no paedophile priests. Yeah, I remember having that pride.
Yes. Oops. It is pride to think that your priest should be holy. Yes. And I think so far in the traditionalist movement, there's been like 4 cases, maybe? Like, the cases are extremely far away, and you don't really hear very much about it. The abuse in the traditionalist movement is like mostly SSPX too, and the SSPX are having this problem because, you know, they're infiltrated by Novus Ordos and following Novus Ordo rules. So it's not like, yeah, it's a. I really hate this topic, but I thought it was worth mentioning because, you know, it is an interesting topic to talk about that could be used a lot more conversationally, but like, even Father Martin, I don't think Father Martin's like some weirdo evil person. We just disagree with him, so we want to fight him all the time. Now here is her trying to pope-splain, but she just kind of peters out. Yes, Catherine Bennett is a peter-outer.
Don't you know he was a Democrat? Have you seen the tweets I've screenshotted from when he was cardinal, before he was pope?
Right. So now, have you seen the tweets he's screen capped from Leo being a Democrat? The point here is just pope-splaining for Leo.
And do you know he grew up and he went to Peru and he was seen at this rally? Because all of that, to me, is like an insult to the possibility that, first of all, it's a sort of unforgiving attitude that we, even if all of that's true, even if there were problems, which one of us couldn't be, oh, do you remember what you said at school to that person? You were rude to them, or do you know what I mean? We can all draw on people's pasts and say you did silly things when you were younger.
But I've got a good question here. There's no good parents anymore. There's no good families anymore. There's no good universities anymore. There's no good people. There's no good podcasts. No, every single person does a real stupid thing full of sin and evilness in their whole entire world. Like, okay. Is that really what you think? Because when Sede Picante went to college, he was like, I'm not going to fall into this drinking thing. And then it was at Franciscan University, so no one drank. And it's like, oh, look at the institution thought so evil. Now, I think popes can make theological problematic statements in non-infallible situations, but not when speaking infallibly. That's why Pope Francis is the only real modern antipope. I mean, you're going to have a hard time getting that one past Pope Honorius. He didn't even write theology that was wrong. He just merely didn't act. And he was still condemned and anathematized by 3 different councils afterwards. So like, Olin, you're going to have, that's going to be hard to prove that argument. But good luck with it. And in short, every person in the Novus Ordo are really bad people who have never really tried to live blameless lives. Yikes! That's really what she just said there. That is exactly what she just said. So, like, Chris Jackson is wrong because every single person in the Novus Ordo religion is cookie Nazi burger. Okay, that's what you want to be. We have 1.5 minutes left. Let's get through this last painful bit. Man. Tell me you have no confidence in your Pope without saying it. No, boy.
We know that, and it's not that everything the Pope says on a plane is infallible. We know that. But to have the attitude of starting out from the point of view
worst possible conclusion.
The worst possible conclusion. So when the Pope says capital punishment is inadmissible, that is the natural reaction to the protection of human rights and dignity is permissible because of human dignity, which is a contradiction in terms. You would say, this Pope's insane! Who cares about infallibility? The man's insane. He's a raving lunatic. Get him out because he's a madman. You don't be like, oh, look, this is definitely not an infallible statement. So like, he can just say whatever he wants to say. You say, this man doesn't have any common sense. He does not look for the good of the human family.
That you are, I've already decided that you are all these problems. Okay, all right, yeah, being rude to someone at school isn't the same as idolatry.
Being rude to someone at school is not the same as idolatry. She reads it off a comment. Yes, maybe you shouldn't have done this live. Like sometimes, like I hate non-live content. Well, I do. But like sometimes if you don't do things live, then you you can edit out very stupid statements that you then have to correct. Okay?
Quite right.
Oh, yes. In this clip, Gaspers begs us not to hate the non-pope, and Mark is triggered.
We shouldn't hate him. I think that's the issue here. All that this
say
anger.
that you can't listen, that he hasn't got any authority, or that he isn't the Pope.
You shouldn't hate the Pope, and he doesn't. They say that he doesn't have any authority. That he's not the Pope. It's like, okay, well, so go with the logic, understand the logic, defeat the logic. Don't be like, oh my goodness, you said I wasn't beautiful. 6 out of 6, amazing hot person. I can't believe you said that. It's like, okay, you're offended. Okay, congratulations. Congratulations, you're offended. Now, in this clip, heresies is replaced with problems, and this is 100% trading Zippit. No heresies. It's only problems. This is called Marxism. It's when you keep subtly changing the goalposts to get the end you want. This is how you get all sorts of sins that go without being called out.
Like,
is Sailor even live right now?
The book that I think you've spoken to Dr. Krasniewski about, this disastrous pontificate by Dominic Brigio, like we've had him, like I think that is really important that we catalogue, the problems. And I think
that we, I dare say, let us catalogue the problems. You mean the heresies? I think it's really important that we catalogue the problems. Let's rewind this a little bit. You mean heresies? Like, why are you sugarcoating horrible, blasphemous things that Francis said as problems? Like, I've got a problem. My shoe is on too tight on my right foot, and my left foot is a little too sweaty right now, and my left arm is a little sweaty too. And that's a problem. That's 3 problems. Francis did not have problems.
Dominic Brigio, like we've had him, like I think that is really important that we catalogue, the problems. And I think,
yes, Kevin Davis, Chris Jackson comment, and the hosts are happy to note that they have no belief the Vatican is holy.
I don't think the vast majority of Catholics.
He's reading the tweet on the bottom.
Know the half of what is going on in the Vatican on a daily basis. Well, I'm sure they don't, and why
Thank
would they?
God.
Thank God they don't know what's going on in the Vatican. Thank God they're all a bunch of evil sinners over there. They're horrible Epstein file lovers. Like, whoa, man, whoa, don't say that kind of words over here. Like, thank God they don't know what horrible things are happening in my basement. They wouldn't like me at all. Wait, what? Is this live? Is this live? I don't have a basement, I promise. No, don't leave me. Don't stop sending me money. I'm Sede Picante, the #1 Sede grifter in the world. Thank you. But seriously, if we can go back to the video. And thank God they don't know what's going on. Do you realize how that sounds? That sounds like they have torture dungeons inside the Vatican. That's what that sounds like.
I don't think the vast majority of Catholics know the half of what is going on in the Vatican on a daily basis. Well, I'm sure they don't, and why
Thank
would they?
God.
So, I mean, he says that's what I'm trying in my small way to help remedy. fair enough. And he says most Catholics would be upset, and hopefully they would be upset by certain things that go on in the Vatican. But where is that?
And hopefully they would be upset with things going on in the Vatican. You're saying so bad things are happening, like evil things are happening, like horrible, wretched, demonic, satanic things that are sending poor frogs to hell are happening in the Vatican. But Chris Jackson is the villain because he has zeal about this toxic zeal, bitter zeal. This almost seems like another double standard that they kind of all admit Chris Jackson is right.
They would be upset by certain things that go on in the Vatican, but where is that? What's the purpose of the anger, and where is it? How is this zeal being directed? I guess that's my concern.
And that's the end of the show. That was our review of Matt Gasper's trying to do a show about Chris Jackson. We have to say, I actually was scared when I first started watching the show. I thought this show was going to be fun. I thought this was going to be humorous. I thought Chris Jackson was going to get completely smashed because I thought this was an easy show to do. I thought there's so much stuff that Trump has done that's wrong that is indefensible. And then they spent half the time just being like, oh, bitter zeal, help us. We have so much bitter zeal. Our prognostication is that Chris Jackson did pretty well in this show. They really failed to make a logical case and to really nail down things. Instead, they were just angry and upset and twittered. They were filled with bitter anger. And in between bitter anger and bitter zeal, I'd rather have the anger.
I don't know where you go with these guys.
And that's right, I don't know where you go with these guys. Vatican bad, don't be mad, that's right. Just be happy, because you know, if you're happy, then everything becomes better. And that's the show for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Still 19 strong at this unearthly hour of nearly midnight Eastern time zone. You're all the best, and everything that you do, make sure that you do it to destroy Trad Inc. because they're wankers who are sitting on their... They're sitting on a mousetrap of stupidity, but their big butts won't let it go off because I sat down on the back part first before the front part, so it didn't snap them. And we hope it snaps them because they're annoying. And also we hope that they keep on making content like this, or else I will run out of shows to do. God bless you all and have a great night. Remember to say your rosaries, because without it we won't get a new pope. Amen. Pray a rosary. Leave the stream.